Rogue Trooper Redux, or redo, whatever this thing is called. I never understood those fancy words. It's a third-person shooter in a world where it's okay to carve up your buddy's brain just because it would look cool in your backpack. Okay, there's a lot more to it than just being cool, but we'll get into that later. First, I have to say this was sent to me from the publisher. I'm disclosing it like usual. This is tied for the most expensive game sent to me from a publisher. The other one? Let's see if you guys remember. Tick tock, tick tock. It was the first Skunk bundle. Yeah, remember that one? Now, to be fair, the title was only $24.99 for about a day before it went free. However, it still counted. This one is definitely way better than that title, but that's not saying much. This has you playing as a blue-tinted soldier. He gets dropped into a planet to fight against the people who are there. I'm sure there's some rich backstory to this, but as a person who's never experienced this game before, it wasn't very clear. This trooper, which I think was named Rogue, goes off mission and tries to stop the enemy on his own, which is almost ironic that that was his name. Maybe they should have called him Faithful, or Always Loyal. Loyal would probably be his middle name, but whatever. This is based on the British comic book series. Then it was a PlayStation 2 game, an Xbox game, and even a Wii game a little bit later. I played a lot of really obscure Wii games. I've never heard of it. It doesn't make me want to go out and find it. It's nice to know it's one of those 1,000 Wii games that were made. This is a remastered version of the PlayStation 2 game. So if you played that game, here's a prettier version of it. Woohoo! Said the 12 people who played that title. It controlled fine, but I'm not a big shooters fan, so I have no real thoughts on if it should have been mapped to different buttons. As a novice, it was intuitive enough. Graphically, it was not that great looking, but in a war environment, you really can't be expecting pretty visuals. There were often different ways to get to the goal, and I just mean different directions or tactics. It was never too different, but better angles for surprising your foes. You're sometimes joined by other members of your race to fight back the enemy. If certain members die, you can carve out the back of their heads and attach it to your weapons, backpack, or helmet. Why you'd want to do that other than being a monster? Well, it turns out they have chips in the back of their head that keeps their consciousness. If you get them out fast enough, you can harvest them, and they can live out their existence on your body or weapon. Can you imagine a worse fate? To be like a living, thinking helmet? Just be glad there's no jockstrap attachment. However, they don't seem to mind living their afterlife as a rifle. They'll even give you upgrades to the things that you plug them into, like helping you with aiming or unlocking doors. They can also turn into sentry guns that can be set to go off when you're across the room, or they can be turned into holograms that you can use to get a better look at the land or make the enemies shoot at the holograms. So if you want to play this game stealthily, you can. And they give you a little bit of more harvest points if you do this. Speaking of harvest points, we should probably get into that. One of the more unique things about this game is that you have to harvest all the people who have died around you for their parts. You get points for doing this, and you can spend them on getting more ammo and getting upgrades for your weapons or health packs. It was a very weird way of doing things, but it does make things more customizable, since you're going to make more of the ammo of the weapons you actually want to use, instead of most shooters which just give you specific ammo. Like for example, I like using the sniper rifle the most, and it was fun that you could add a silencer to it, so you could sneak around and take out the enemies. So I kept myself fully loaded on that stuff. If you ever run out of ammo or points, you can always use the pistol, which has unlimited ammo. There was quite a few times where I got stuck trying to figure out what they wanted me to do. I eventually got it, but a little more on-screen help would have been useful. There's a multiplayer mode, and it's pretty empty. The most I've ever seen in there was like 2 other people. You can play multiplayer mode alone, because all you're doing is either defending a place or trying to get somewhere. So they just keep throwing enemies at you, so you can play single player, but you're gonna die pretty quick. The multiplayer mode was okay in the rare times I actually got to play with people. Rogue Trooper Redux was okay. Graphically, it looked alright. It was far from the best looking thing on the Switch, but for the atmosphere they were trying to portray, it worked just fine. It does feel overpriced. When I first got it, I assumed it was like $14.99. I was shocked when I saw it was $24.99 on the eShop. I think you should wait for it to go on sale. It just feels dated even as a remaster. It's not a bad game though, it's just average. It's just one of those games you'll play once or twice.